When I first came to New Zealand, I came to New Zealand in 92, I think it was. And I started a TOPS course, which was a 6-month fashion certificate course. If I was born in France, for example, and I wanted to do fashion, the thread for me to just kind of grab and continue on was right in front of me. But in terms of Pacific, it was so far away from me that there was this big gap, and I thought, gee, there was nothing for me to reference for my own inspiration. So I had to make a decision to build a body of work or go straight into developing a collection or a range or a label like all my other label mates. That was the path that everyone pretty much took. So instead I went the opposite direction and just plodded along and developed this thing. And after 15 years, I've been able to master my identity and bring the two extremes together and keep it really balanced and modern. That now, today, a lot of Pacific designers and Māori designers are actually drawing from my body of work. I've always known that Pacific fashion could be taken so much more further. And that was pretty much a mission of mine with the development of Pacific Coutures, to keep projecting this unique identity that belongs to New Zealand. It belongs to us. The first competition that I ever entered was 94. That was the Benson Hedges Awards. And I remember everyone around me was going, "Ooh, you'll be lucky to get in because it's really tough to even just be nominated, let alone win something." So naturally, I was like, yeah, whatever, and just focused on what my intention was. And funnily enough, I didn't know what I was going to create until the night before it was due. So I remember sitting in my room going, oh my gosh, what am I doing? And it's due tomorrow. And I remembered there was this mat that was in my wardrobe. So I just pulled it out and started creating it and put some wire in the hem, and so just to create some structure and fluidity. And entered it. It got in, and I remember going there. It stood out because there was nothing like it. There was the old Pacific fashion stuff, prints and that kind of stuff. But actual flax hadn't been done a lot or modernized. But afterwards, I had heard that they didn't know where to put it, so they put it in avant-garde for now. And the following year, they had released this little article in their little booklets and a photograph of my garment saying that we now realise that it's time for Pacific fashion to have its own category. So that's when the Oceania Award started. And every fashion show or competition after that acknowledged Pacific fashion. I'm very proud of that. And Te Papa, they bought that piece, and the symbolism again from the beginning. They've bought my first garment. They've followed me up to this point, and here we are doing this beautiful wedding gown to kind of wrap up that little block of my life. Whawhawhine is a Samoan term for like a woman. In Western terminology, that would be compared to transgender, transvestite, transsexual, transformer, whatever. But for me, my own interpretation of that is masculine and feminine. I was born male. My femininity is cranked up, and I've always been this way. So as a designer, that's a natural filter that's there that I can't do anything about. It is a filter that's that all my inspiration and ideas come through. I've always had dreams, and I've always known that my ancestors were around me. Before I even knew who specifically, I always knew it as a kid. So I didn't feel afraid. I felt guided. I felt protected from harm. In terms of the ancestors who have passed, they're part of my spirituality, and when I'm in need of help or support, I know I can call on them to give me that comfort. And it's not necessarily a verbal thing, it's a feeling. So as a designer, I'm inspired by them. I feel them. I see pictures in my mind. I have dreams about a certain topic that I want to talk about or is on my mind. And I have this little relationship with my genealogy in that level. My advice to Māori and Pacific designers is just be innovative. Don't be afraid to create something new. And don't be afraid to be yourself, just bring everything in, who you are, your background, everything. Just bring it all in.